It's lunchtime, but today Kagurazaka Kimito decides to rest in the classroom. At least that's what he plans until his classmate boldly asks him to buy her tea at the cafeteria, even though it's a chore. He complies and heads to the cafeteria, where Mito sees four incredibly muscular men darkly approaching him. Our boy finds himself tied up in a car while the four muscles treat their muscles as if their dinner depended on it. But what's going on? Kimito is immediately thrown out of the car when they reach a school. At the pace of a servant's uniform, the woman who freed him thanks him nonchalantly for his cooperation. This woman is Kuzumi, Yuki, and she apologizes if he thinks they've gone too far. Needless to say, Kimito is furious and demands explanations, but instead of getting better answers, she comments on his peasant-like way of speaking and claims that he will find the answers to his questions in due time. She encourages him to follow her as she explains the surface information about the school he has been brought to. The school is an elite institution for wealthy young girls. It cultivates grace and elegance, which is an essential part of the education provided by the school, fostering a sense of tradition and sophistication. Furthermore, the school's existence is unknown to ordinary society. Miyuki informs Kimito that he will be enrolled as a student today, and he doesn't need to worry about formalities as everything has already been arranged. Moreover, Kimito's parents have already given their consent for his transfer. Once again, Miyuki avoids answering Kimito's question. She resumes her explanation where she left off, stating that his new school is a modern aristocratic academy exclusively for girls, and no boys are allowed in the vicinity. Finally, they arrive at the office of the school's director, a lively high school girl named Kamachi Sayuri. Following tradition, she apologizes for the way Kimito was retrieved and asks Miyuki to do the same, albeit reluctantly. After they apologize, former Saiken students live like members of high society, but because they were raised in a closed environment, they are traumatized when they leave and interact with the outside world. In the ordinary world, while some are shocked by the transportation system, others become addicted to video games. To combat this phenomenon, the school has decided to strengthen the unity of the girls by welcoming a commoner into their ranks. That's where Kimito Kagurazaka comes in. As an ordinary guy, the more time the students spend with him, the easier they will adapt to the outside world, considering their weak immunity towards men. Admitting a commoner is the best solution. But why him? According to the data, he's an ordinary first-year student. His height, weight, and appearance are all ordinary, and his academic results are also average. All in all, he's a perfect ordinary commoner. They simply called him Mitsukuri. However, there's another detail about him that escaped their radar. According to his childhood friend, Eric, Kimito has a peculiarity: he prefers men, muscles, and all things macho. He's also a pencil pusher, but when he reveals this, the atmosphere in the room suddenly changes. Remember when I mentioned that the school's existence was unknown to the public? Now that Kimito knows, he will be sent to a place even Google Maps can't locate. Furthermore, he will have to bid farewell to his jewelry family as his life is at stake. Kimito changes his mind and declares that he loves muscles. He is then led to the first-year class he will join. When the door opens, he is greeted by a group of girls with rhinoceros-like horns. The class representative, Riko Gawa, introduces herself, and Kimito responds in the way Mitsukuri would. This quickly grabs the attention of his classmates, as it's the first time they've encountered a commoner. Suddenly, they hear a phone ringing, causing panic. It's Kimito's smartphone. To calm the class, Miyuki shows them the phone and explains what it is and what it's used for. It turns out they have never seen a phone before. Curiosity gets the better of the girls, and they gather around Miyuki to check out the gadget. While she marvels at the phone, she suddenly remembers that she shouldn't be marveling at someone else's property and that they should return it. Approaching Kimito, Riko realizes she hasn't prepared a token of gratitude and lightly brushes her hand against his and some flowers from Reiko, which he drops into his arms before fainting. At that moment, a girl named Tantabachi grabs Kimito's hands and pulls him outside. When they are finally out of sight, she gives him a thumbs-down gesture and forcefully asks him to kiss her. There's a circulating rumor that kissing a commoner can make someone's dreams come true. Goodness, commoners are like frogs. However, Kimito soon manages to convince her otherwise and refines her embarrassed self. She never believes him, but when Kimito tells her that her dreams will come true if she spins around 3 times and drinks, she suddenly does so. Some girls arrive to see what they're doing and naturally ask what they're doing. Erika is mortified to be seen doing something ridiculous. As Reiko approaches her, Erika flees. It is then that Riko sadly reveals that Kiko doesn't speak to any of them. A little later, she shows him his dormitory, and to Kimito's surprise, the school spent a small sum of 100 million yen to renovate his commoner room for his comfort. But it looks exactly like his room back home, down to the posters. Everything is the same, except for the posters of those similar thighs. He noticed, even if it's just a centimeter. It's over for him and his nonsense, even though it breaks his heart. Mito quickly removes the peanut from the wall. Miyuki adds that their students have a maid who takes care of them, so she will be Kimito's personal maid starting today. However, with a somber expression, she emphasizes that even though she is dedicated to him, she won't do anything for him before leaving. She asks him to attend the commoners' information meeting at 3 p.m. Once Mitsukuri leaves, there is a coffee interruption and Kimito is called out for his deception. She turned 58, but no one else did. None of her dreams came true, so she thought she would give up. She realized it was all BS on the 3rd rotation and considered slapping Kimito. Kimito changes his mind when he notices that his room is filled with ordinary objects. Maybe he can fulfill his dream of becoming the most popular student in class and can. He didn't intend to say it out loud, but hearing it out loud made him realize how easy his dream is to achieve. Mito advises him to stay true to himself and try to get along with his classmates. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as it seems. The truth is, it's hard for Kimito to lie, and he ends up saying whatever he thinks, which makes others uncomfortable because he doesn't want to be hated. She chooses to distance herself from others, with tears in her eyes, and admits that she needs company because she hates being alone. She just wants to enjoy her time at school surrounded by friends, but everything she does backfires. Helping EKA feel better by giving her his portable console doesn't make much of a difference. In the end, Kimito realizes that she wants to be popular at school if she learns enough about commoner culture. With enthusiasm, she declares the creation of the Commoner Club, even though there are only 2 members. She is confident they will have fun. Kimito is hesitant but goes along with it. The club's first task is to master a game, and Kimito watches her play with a smile. The next day, Kimito wakes up to Miyuki's sweet words. "Maybe you should have stayed asleep," she says. Miyuki is in charge of waking Kimito up every morning and helping him change, which is not optional. Kimito has no choice but to accept Miyuki's help. Once he finishes changing, Miyuki leads him to the back exit of the dormitory to avoid any unnecessary disputes, but their plan falls apart when they encounter loudly asks what he's doing there. Fortunately, Miyuki ushers them out before a crowd can form. As they walk towards the main building, Mito notices that their servant is following them, something they had never seen before. Someone takes note of this information, and Kimito tells them he will give them information about commoners in exchange. They should inform him about the school. When Kimito doesn't care about Riko's demand, the presidency will surely take care of it. Riko's aura makes him feel as uncomfortable as she looks composed and out of reach, unlike EKA. Inside the building, they are greeted by Riko, who enthusiastically tells Kimito about the welcome party they have prepared for him. After school, feeling excluded, Kimito leaves the 2 of them and sits on his cushioned chair. Riko constantly showcases her exceptional qualities throughout the day, whether in English class, flower arranging, or physical education. She exudes elegance and attracts people to her. On the contrary, she lacks coordination, is not good at crafts, and is always alone when the girls gather around Kimito, praising his impressive physical skills during gym class. On the way to the cafeteria, the conversation shifts to the separation between the girls and the commoners, with Riko mimicking what should not be mentioned, the commoner's dreams. Instead, she mentions that being a commoner makes her feel that way. However, that doesn't mean she feels uncomfortable around Riko and the others. It makes the girls happy and gives them hope of one day being friends with someone. The cafeteria has nothing to do with what Kimito saw before. It's grand, magnificent, and filled with girls who have never seen a commoner. So, When Kimito tries to read the menu, he is not familiar with the food. To play it safe, he orders Japanese-style food, instant ramen. Miki serves him instant ramen, which she knows is a staple for commoners. While she's not wrong, Kimito tells her he doesn't feel like eating that for now. He snaps his tongue and asks if she prefers something else. Suddenly, Riko curiously asks what Kimito's food is. The aroma of the delicious instant ramen has already caught everyone's attention. It turns out they have never eaten instant ramen before, so they are astonished to discover that all it takes is adding hot water to eat them. How can the ingredients take that form just by adding hot water? To satisfy the girl's curiosity, Mito finally lets them taste the instant ramen. She takes the cup and shares it equally among everyone, then in a spirit of indulgence, Riko asks the servant to present the ramen in their finest dish. Finally, the girls start eating and unanimously express their delight at the delicious taste of the noodles. Meanwhile, Kimito quietly eats his bento in the restroom, feeling sorry for the girl. If you want a continuation of this anime, subscribe, like, and comment to help the channel grow. Thank you for watching this video.